Hey, what's up, Star Trek fans and cosplayers alike? Will here. Just wanted to go over a couple things real quick. Some changes, some improvements, and some designs that I've done to this since the last video. These are going into production now. I've got the first four right now over in the paint booth with the paint curing on them. And just want to talk about a couple things with this. So first of all, this is the first buckle. This is the buckle you saw in the last video. This is what I'm referring to as the modern faceplate. The centers are the same. It's just the faceplate that's different. But this is the more modern faceplate is what I'm calling this. This is more styled after, I think, a Novos may have put out this buckle. That kind of looked like this, and that's what I based this design on. But I'd been asked to, and I kind of did this quicker than what I was planning to, do a buckle that's more true to what you see on screen. I don't want to use the word accurate because I know some people lose their minds over stuff when you say it's accurate or anything like that. It's closer to what you see on screen, and it's based on information that I got from David Pipgrass. And David, I hope I pronounced your last name correct. I'm sorry if I didn't, buddy. But he shared some insight to me. He, I believe, got a hold of one of the original screen use buckles and had a bunch of measurements, and he was nice enough to share that with me. And that's what this is based on. The faceplate in width and height is the same as the screen use buckle. The opening is pretty close to what it is. It's a little bit off because I'd already done this one. And also I wanted a little more thickness to this because of it being a resin print. So I made a couple little alterations to it, but for the most part it's true to the screen used version. And the thickness, this buckle is just a little bit thicker than the screen used buckle. And so there's a couple of changes just to add strength to this because of the resin, but for the most part this one's a little bit closer to what the screen use buckles look like. So I'm calling this one the classic. This one is the modern version. So when you place orders, please let me know which faceplate it is you want, so I can plan that when I do my printing as well, because I need to know kind of how many faceplates I need to print each time. It'll help kind of streamline things for me. If I'm not printing right now, I'm printing 2 of each every time I print. And it's just if I start having one or more ordering, that's I'm going to have a couple sitting instead of selling, and I'd rather just print what I need. That way, I can get these done and out to people quicker. But anyway, a couple of improvements I've made to this since the last video. The first one is, if you look at this, is I think the buckle I used last video, and you'll notice that one of the issues I was running into was this little button for the release is small. And when you're wearing this buckle, you can't hardly see it. And if you got a little bit of a belly like me, it's really hard to see that. So I wanted to make sure you'd be able to reach down and feel that button and push it to release it. And this one worked okay, but it was a little inconsistent between prints. So what I did was I went back in, and I've actually widened that button and raised it a little more so you can see it sticks out a little bit more. So it makes it a lot easier to just reach down and feel for it and push that button to release the buckle. But you can hear it snap in, and it works a lot easier. It's a lot more reliable than trying to push this little button. So that's one improvement I made. The other improvement I made to the clasp was a breakage issue I had was with this piece here on the front. And let me see if I can get this a little closer and focus it so I can show you a little better. This piece right here that you see, where it meets the buckle itself, the center part of the buckle itself, I had these breaking sometimes for no reason. I'd push in on them like I'm doing with this one now, and it would just snap. So I had concern with that. What I did was 2 things. I made this thicker, and also made the connecting point thicker to help keep it, minimize breakage issues with it. The other thing I did, which was probably the main cause of breakage, I found out that if you over-cure this tough resin, you can actually make it porous and brittle. And so what I did was, when I was getting these parts, I was printing them, and then I was putting them in the cure station, the UV station, for 20 minutes. And come to find out, that's actually over-curing the part and making it brittle. These belt loops is another example of that. If you look at these belt loops, this is the original design, which is more of a rounded loop. If I put it down, if I push on it, it's fine in the middle. But if I go to one end and push on it, it'll break. Take a little effort, but it breaks. And I wasn't happy about that. So what I did was I went back in and redesigned it. And you can see it. I made it thicker. And also, again, I don't post cure these now. I print them, I clean them up, and unless I see issues where it looks like it may need some additional curing, I don't post cure these. They've been doing great without post curing, and you'll see that these don't break like that one did. These are a lot more resilient, a lot tougher, a lot harder to break. So I'm a lot happier with that loop versus the original design, which it had some random breaking issues. So that's another improvement I made to the buckle. In addition to that, the other improvement I did, I talked about improving this buckle, but I also have a wider version of this now. This version that you see here is a 1.5 inch opening. That is for the new American jacket. But what I've done is I've designed a 2-inch opening for some of the more screen accurate jackets that have been coming out from different I guess smaller manufacturers or people that just make them on a commission basis. And those jackets have a shorter belt loop. They're equal length on both sides, just like the screen use jackets. But they tend to have a wider belt. One belt, I don't have the message in front of me, but the person I've been working with about getting a wider belt loop on it, his belt actually has a, let me see if I can pull up the, I like to give credit to people when they help me out with stuff. Actually, I had to go look and pull up the email and look, but he never gave me his name. It's an email address is what I've got. So I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but the gentleman that helped me he was sending me some photos of his bomber jacket that had the wider belt loops, and we're trying to work it out. Now his belt loops were 2.5 inch wide, which is pretty wide because the buckle itself, the original screen use buckle, was only 2.5 inches tall. So, and I know that the belt loops are narrower than that on the screen use buckles. So I don't know why the straps would be that wide, but somebody else I talked to, their jacket was similar, but it had 2-inch straps. So what I've done is, this buckle only being 2.5 inches, I can't make these belt loops 2.5 inches. Otherwise, the loops would actually be up above in order to allow an opening wide enough. They would actually be above and below the buckle itself, and wouldn't look right. But what I did do is I made a loop, and I don't have one sitting in front of me. It's actually wider. It's a 2-inch opening for jackets that have a wider buckle to them. So I was able to do that, and that's the great thing about this being modular, because I can just swap those out or send that set of belt loops without having to do a totally different print. But the other thing is, with this being modular, it makes it easier to replace a part if you break something on this down the line. Basically, you just take these 2 screws out on the back. And it's just a regular size Phillips head. So take these out. You take those out, and then this whole thing comes apart. This center part pops out of place, and your belt loop, there's a little lip you got to raise this up over. There we go. And your belt loop comes out as well. So you've got those separate pieces that you can order and replace if you break any one of them. If you damage the faceplate, you can reorder a faceplate, or this faceplate and the classic faceplate are interchangeable. So you can order one buckle, and then if you decide you want the other design, you can order just that faceplate instead of having to buy a whole new buckle, because these are going to be interchangeable. But in addition, like I said, if you break something, if you break the clip, you can reorder the center parts without having to buy a whole new buckle. It'll be cheaper. The belt loops will come in a pair. You can buy those if you break one. I don't know how you're going to break one, because so far these have been pretty good. I haven't broken any of these, or been able to even break any of these, the ones that I've tested so far. So they've been pretty good. But to put it back together, first you want to put your belt loop back in, and that'll slide into place. And while you're holding that in place, you take your centerpiece, and you see how those 3 prongs just kind of sit in place there. And this one here is actually what holds your belt loop on, in addition to those screws going through the casing on the back here. But you just take your screws, if I can hold on to it. Maybe, there we go. And you just tighten these down until they're snug. You don't tighten them past snug, because again, this is resin, so you can strip it out. But you just tighten them down till they're snug. And once they're snug, just check them, make sure they're flush. They should be flush with the back of the centerpiece, and you're good to go. It's back in place. We can buckle that back together. Oop. Gotta line it up. There we go. So that's the modular part of that, and I just wanted to, again, like I said, go back over these and show you some improvements that were made to it, and also that you now have the option for either the modern or the classic faceplate when you place your order. Just make sure you let me know which one you want. Those of you that have already ordered, when before I ship these out, I'll have one of each of these made. So what I'll do is I'll email you and verify as to which version you still want. Do you still want the modern version, or do you want to change to the classic version? So don't worry if you've already placed an order. Or you can just reach out to me if you already placed an order and just let me know which one for sure you want. But again, if I don't hear from you, I will reach out to you before your order ships. But that's pretty much it, guys. I just want to go over that and show you the improvements and the options that have been added to these buckles now that I'm starting to work on. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And also, if you want to place an order, email me at ensignschair@gmail.com. I will have the link for that in the notes below the video. Please don't message me to place an order. It's made it kind of hard for me to keep track of how many orders I have now. I've got at least 20 orders right now that are pending that I've got to start working on. So if you place an order, just know that that's where you're at in line, is somewhere above that. So it could take a couple weeks of me getting through this before I actually ship your buckle. So just be patient. If at any time, again, like I said, if you got any questions, just shoot me an email at ensignschair@gmail.com. And again, I'll have the link for that email address in the notes below. But thank you, everybody, for watching this video. Hopefully this was informational for those of you that may have been curious. And if you place an order, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll get these out to you as quick as I can. But Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2024. Looking forward to it. Till next time, take care.